Goldblum
Yep.
and his then wife, Gina Davis,
That's
playing
right.
his girlfriend.
That's true enough.
Creepy.
Yeah, was.
Slimy.
Yes, indeed. Now, these are early concepts that Chris Wallace and his crew sculpted up of ideas for the fly.
And then he would take that to the director and say, do you like the look of the fly?
Right, and this is the way it evolved. This was one that was rejected. He didn't care for this one that much.
He didn't want Jeff Goldblum looking like that with that
Well,
big thing sticking out of his mouth.
I
What
guess
in the
not.
heck is that?
I don't know what
Looks like
that
a pig.
is. Well, that's it, you know. It's the fly pig.
So that didn't work.
No.
That was rejected.
Here's another one that he did that this one wasn't used either.
Yeah, it's just too much there. I mean, total dermabrasion. Looks like a butt head.
Yeah, sort of. So
All
they
right.
didn't use that. Now, he started getting into the first stages of Jeff's transformation into the fly.
The eyes start getting puffy.
Right, and the face is starting to change. You can see it's starting to actually alter.
You should get your 8 hours of sleep.
That's true.
Or put some tea bags into there.
That would help.
That prevents
a little.
puffiness, Bob.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah, I've been on TV a long time.
Oh, I see.
We know what I like about this one, though? The Chuck Grodin hair.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
That's perfect, isn't
Isn't
it?
that great? Okay, now he bought that concept.
Yeah.
This is the next change that the director bought.
So he's basically added the green eyes.
Yeah, a little bit more weird stuff around here.
Yeah.
The little fly hairs and things like that.
My Gillette wouldn't even get that.
No way.
No way.
Now he's evolving even more. Now he's getting the fly slime.
And why is it flies ooze all the time, Bob?
They do that because then they can melt you, and it's an acid that they get on you, and they dissolve the stuff, so they eat you dissolved already.
How do you know that?
I'm paid to know. That's
Wow.
just me. I know these things. Yeah. Now, here is the final, pretty much, concept of what it's going to look like. He's really getting ugly here.
What is that thing sticking out
That's
of his mouth?
just like a big tongue thing or whatever.
That's
the
a
flies
tongue
have.
thing.
Yeah, that's it. That flies just have tongue things.
I
And
didn't
that's
know
one
that.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it evolves into this guy, which is the final guy that Cronenberg said, this is it.
I like that look.
Final
Yeah.
fly to look this way.
So
That-
Jeff Goldblum will look like that. He made that decision.
Yes.
So now you got to get Jeff and cover him with fly stuff?
Well, sort of. You know, it's actually clay. What you do is you make a life cast, as they did here.
Yeah.
You sculpt up in clay all these little things here of all those different stages. So finally, here's one of the mid stages where, I mean, Jeff is literally covered, except his eyeballs and his mouth, actually, with rubber. I
Do you have crackers for this this cheese dip
I
here?
don't think I'd want to
That
eat
is
any
nasty,
of this.
isn't it? It's like head cheese.
It is. It's ugly. It's bad. Then he evolved. Not involved.
Well,
it's
it was an
too.
involved process,
Yes.
certainly.
To this, the final fly head.
But what's all the wires for?
That's the cables that worked all of these things. Here's the tongue that worked and all this kind of
Oh.
stuff. The eyelids would work.
So somebody was holding onto that handle there
Yes.
and maneuvering it?
And then all this stuff would wiggle and move and do all that kind of stuff.
Been chasing your wife around the house with it again, Bob, haven't you?
All the time.
Yeah.
It works, too.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah.
likes that.
Great. Then,
Whoa, Mike. Oh, so this is the finished product.
yeah, this is what he evolves into. Yeah.
Bob, this is ugly, okay?
It is ugly.
I'm on record.
Yeah.
So what did they use it for?
This was the stand-in. There was a puppet that actually did the final part of the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't Jeff at all.
So this is, they check lighting and stuff like that? with
Everything with this guy. Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Ooh, what is this stuff, Bob? Fly goo or something?
Oh, that looks bad, Mike.
Hey, Bob, I'm feeling a little funny. I'm feeling really funny.
There's only one way out of this, Mike.
Help me, Bob.
I'm sorry. I'll help you.
No! Okay, Trivia Meisters. The first McDonald's was in San Bernardino. The first Starbucks was in Seattle. But where was the first comic book store? Gotcha. The answer is Torrance, California. The comic vendor opened in 1956. And as a matter of fact, it's still open. The store is owned and operated by Nick and Pamela Scotto.
Stray Bullets, number 7. I didn't know it went that hard.
It all started because Nick was a fanatic comic collector from age 4 or 5. He just had to have every issue in a particular series. But there wasn't any decent place to find back issues to fill in gaps in his collection.
So I started selling at swap meets and trading at swap meets. And people wanted a little money for their comics. Sometimes they would want as much as a nickel. And so I had to sell a few of the comics.
Next thing you know, little Nick's selling comics out of the garage in his parents' house.
When we applied for the business license, my parents applied for the license. I was 11 years old. And I ran the store myself. My parents had absolutely nothing to do with it except for the business license.
Nick became a serious little entrepreneur when he discovered there was some serious dinero to be made in used comics.
About late 59, I realized something that probably turned me into a dealer. And that was that I could actually sell an old comic book that had 10 cents on the cover that was used for more than 10 cents.
In 4 decades, the tiny garage store has grown into a comic book emporium with about 50,000 comics on display and 4 million more in a warehouse. They range from the latest X-Men to titles which make collectors drool, like Batman #1. These Golden Age comics can fetch prices into the 6 figures. But the comic vendor has not only made Nick money, it's made him a happily married man. He met wife Pamela when she came into the store 25 years ago to have her Superman annual appraised.
And I heard that comic books could be kind of collectible and that there was this place, that comic vendor, that bought comic books. So I hunted Nick up, went in, there was this crazy Italian racing behind the counter.
7 years later, she married that crazy Italian, and now she runs the store while he handles the wholesale trade and mail orders. Over the years, they've seen it all when it comes to customers, like the dangerous-looking biker who came roaring up on his hog with several biker buddies and entered the store.
He was probably about 6'5", big engineer's boots, the whole thing. And I was thinking that there was a real good chance that I was going to be out of business that day. And he comes out and pulls off his big gloves and everything. And the other people were sitting back a bit. You know, they were outside of the store because there's only room for about one person. And he said to me in a reasonably normal voice, not too low, if I had any little Lulus. This gentleman collected little Lulus.
Though Nick and Pamela have gone from being collectors to big-time comic dealers, they remain fans at heart. And even after all those years in business, it's still hard to sell some of the treasures that come into their hands. They find themselves creating secret stashes.
Both of us do it. We hide little books off on the side, and yeah I'm
fun.
still a collector.
So-called shogun of the dark.
All that stands in their way, a solitary stranger.
Let's just call it quits. What a bunch of space beaches they are.
I have become as immortal as a true demon.
I'm looking for someone who look exactly like him.
Ninja Scroll stands in their way, a solitary stranger.
What a bunch of space creatures they are.
Devils,
Die!
each possessing a dark and deadly gift.
They are a group of ninja who work for the so-called shogun of the dark.
All that stands in their way, a solitary stranger.
Let's just call it quits.
What a bunch of space creatures they are.
I have become as immortal as a true demon.
I'm looking for someone who look exactly like him.
Ninja Scroll reaches Sci-Fi Channel.
A very skillful attack.